Baruch Hashem.
Yep, yep. I'm happy you got here finally.
Yeah.
אז בואי רבו, right?
What do you do when your son tells you he needs to drive his cotton candy machine to someone's house tonight because tomorrow he's having a siyum in the house? Why didn't you tell me before? I'm going to the shir. The cotton candy shir needs to get to its place.
You should have brought some.
Should have brought some. You're right.
I got a new popcorn machine, um, and it's a fabulous machine.
Yeah,
Of course, that.
it's a good test. That's what we're holding. Tough kuf test. Yes, we're holding a tough kuf test. Actually, we're holding already tough kuf yud aleph, sif yud. Before we go further, I want to mention something last week.
Okay.
One of the dinim is there are 10 things we learned. Asara dvarim nemru b'koisha bracha. It's a Gemara in Brachas Daf Nun and the fact Nun Aleph. That there are 10 things it says about the koisha bracha. Tone, hadacha, shtifa, chai, mali, iter, holdless. The first two are hadacha and shtifa. Hadacha, he explains, the Siv Beis means hadacha mibefnim, and shtifa mechos. You have to wash it inside and outside. It should be yafim vayis mechos. If it's nucky and it's clean, or you wiped it clean, it's fine. You don't have to wipe it. Lamaisa, we see that people wash it. The minig is that people wash the becher, even though
Clean.
it's clean. We don't see any mocker for this in Shulchan Aruch. However, Chaver was discussing it last week, and I took a look to look up the mocker, and he saw that the Kaf HaChaim brings down from the Zohar. The Zohar HaKadosh says in Pashas Pinchas, he discusses these 10 things, and he discusses what they are al pi Kabbalah. And he gives a certain, I don't remember the exact explanation the Zohar says, because I saw this last week after the Shir. I went to take a look, maybe Tuesday. He explains that there's a certain type of accomplishment that you're doing, Api Kabbalah,
By Hadacha and Shtifa.
by Hadacha and Shtifa. And it has nothing to do specifically with cleaning it from dirt. There's certain hamshachas that you're drawing down, certain sidis and svidis, by washing it.
Hadacha and Shtifa.
So the way the Kaf HaChaim understands that based on the Tam HaNigla that we find in the Paiskim, would come out only if it's dirty. But the time of the Api Kabbalah is not totally if it's dirty or not. There's an Inyan of washing it.
Even the plate on the bottom also you have to wash. No, no why. Remember here a couple times. If I remember correctly, the Rebbe used to take a napkin and go like this to the cup with his finger, and after this, fill it up. Remember?
I have
Every
to
time
fill it up.
Again.
Maybe he didn't want the water.
However it was, he took the napkin instead of this, then they fill it up. Remember?
L'chore, he was doing this because Kimchei b'mapa,
Bemapa.
because he didn't have
For
water.
sure somebody was a Dochon Shtifa before. Somebody would give it to the Rebbe David, right? Whoever was unique or whatever.
Right.
So I'm sure there was a
But maybe the Rebbe
no, again,
wanted to
Kabbalah
buy
did
it.
something also with the mappa also.
Yeah, it was clean, but
Also, like you say,
maybe
it's
even though it was clean, he wanted to do it. If it was washed right, then I don't think he would do it, but it could be wasn't washed
no, when
right
I began
before.
ring, it was already washed. It was already on the table.
Clean. Right.
That was his job to be like before from ringing, come, this, to put the becher, put the
Right. So there's an Inyan Api Kabbalah, so the Rebbe wanted to do this by wiping it clean. So he didn't have water there. So he took the napkin and he wiped it. So that's what it's not really brought down in many places, this idea. Only there I saw that Api Zohar, and that's the Chor of the Minig why we see, because Api everything what it says in the Paiskim, there's no reason why we should be
Adoch Shtifa.
yeah. So it's very shy if you're going to go to Litvisha places, you're not going to see them
Doing the Adoch Shtifa.
doing the Shtifa. Yeah, it doesn't make sense. Why should they be doing it? Or wiping with a napkin. Doesn't make sense. Okay.
You.
Sifyud. Mishayoiches hakois biyadei levarich lo yisiach hamavarich afilu sicha kala beis v'gimel teves mishum hesech hadas. Yesh oimrim shagam hamasubin ein lohem lasiach mishanot hakois avarich hakois yod levarich tevlach shedeveim lachatchila. Interesting. We're discussing before he even started the bracha.
Once you hold the cup,
Bracha.
stop talking.
The kois is in your hand. You shouldn't talk anymore. It's very interesting. So people, I think we're not so cognizant of this. That once we bring it in our hand, maybe while we wait for people to come to the table, maybe we'll have a little exchange. Doctor, the person shouldn't talk
Not for themselves.
as soon as you're holding it. And some say, somebody Shainim learn, in the name of the French Chachamim, that even the Mesubim
Once you're holding the cup, stop.
shouldn't. And Toiv Taka to be Choishesh for there. Although to be Hakom, Mishihiskam, Mavarech Levarech, Yisichu Gama Mesubim. For sure, when the Mavarech starts to say the Koisha Bracha, the benching, the Bechas HaMazon, or whatever it might be,
Can't talk.
can talk. Ein tzarich leimer tzichim leimer v'shal shemavarich. Shem tzichim l'shmaya lahavim masha oimer hamavarich. Definitely, you can talk while the mavarich is saying the bracha because they need to listen and understand what he's saying. Alafi lo bein bracha lebracha ein lahem lasiach. K'may shein hamavarich asher lasiach. Shamosh shemeya k'mavarich ba'atzmai. Even in between the brachas, you shouldn't talk. Why then? There's no problem. It's in between. There's no hefsik. Yois that the mevarich doesn't talk, so you also shouldn't talk because you're like the mevarich yourself. Now, weiter sagt Rafi bim aber v'sachu bim bracha lebracha v'shah shemevarich shoisek ma'at yatsu. If they were over and they did speak between bracha lebracha, while the mevarich is being quiet a little bit, slightly in between the two brachas, they're still yaitzel ma'isa. Filon sacham mevarich ba'atzma yatsa. The mevarich himself spoke in between. When there's two brachas, he's yaitza. You're not yaitza. They are not
So I guess
yaitza.
we're talking about a case that he benching for them. They don't know how to bench, and he benching for them. So they must keep quiet all the time. And if they talk, they're not yaitza.
They talk, then they're not yaitza. Yeah.
The same thing him. If he talk middle the benching, you have to repeat it again.
And by it's important to point out that's why we don't even say Baruch Hu Baruch Shemai when you're being yaitza the bracha. If you're not being yaitza the bracha, say Baruch Hu Baruch Shemai. If you have to be yaitza that bracha,
By the chuppah, the whoever make the Seder Kiddushin told the chosin, don't say B'chol B'Shmon, Mechaven to...
Chas and the Kala shouldn't say. But everyone else,
You could say Omen, but don't say anything else.
it's hard. You have to remember because everyone else is going to say Baruch Hu Baruch Shemai.
So you have to tell
You don't say.
Don't say.
Right. Now, Basharure Zu Mitsuya Bein Ha'amoin Shebashar Shemevarich Bezimah Mevarich Ein Shemilei Umedabrin Dvarim Achedim. The problem is when the person benches Zimun, so you're supposed to really listen in to the bracha, your yotze, and you listen into the Bechas HaMazon. But people are not listening. What's the Seishal Torah? Because they were listening, they weren't benching on their own. They were listening by being yotze. They'd be yotze.
Yeah.
The minig was then the Mavarach Zimun meant that you don't each one
He
bench.
bench loud for everybody.
Everyone listening, right? So therefore, he says better that you shouldn't do that.
If you talk, better talk to the Rebbe, not to.
Mashenki nafshe shetoyin loimer. She yoytze me birchas ab mavarech. Behem einam shoyim mahu oimer. Mashenki achsha people think they're yoytze by listening in, but they're not listening in. Think, oh, the mavarech is saying it. Yeah. So therefore, it's a problem. Begam l'chol adam nochen shiyom balacha shmila b'mila. Mavarech kol bracha bracha. Every person, even a person who's not,
Doesn't know how to bench. Listen to.
so who knows? Someone who's not, who's listening in.
Don't just listen. Listen and say the lachash.
Not only people that are talking should rather do it. Even every person. Better to say quietly, mila b'mila mavarech kol bracha b'bracha. Afila chasimes. Because it's very hard, even if you're not talking, he says. Every person should do this because it's very hard to listen every word as it's coming out from the Mavarech. It's a long thing.
By
In
Shabbos, when the person reads after you, some people keep quiet and listen to him, and some people say word by word because it's very hard to follow.
Word by word too.
Whoever read after you, loud, right?
Ah.
So you read yourself quietly because it's very hard to hear every word.
There's definitely a reason you should read. And even if you would hear,
don't talk.
There is a reason. Even if you could hear is loud, a lot of times they're not loud. The people read it's a problem, by the way.
Right.
Especially in our kehillas for some reason. They don't say it loud. And then it's a problem. So people should read themselves. But even when he does read out loud, there is a minhag to say
word by word.
To say it.
Because he makes the beginning and the end.
And that originally was the minhag. Elamai, by the Rebbe, people, when the minhag of Chassidim was, and the Rebbe reads Haftarah,
you don't hear the Rebbe.
You don't read yourself, you listen.
Exactly.
So it became that the Olam
don't read.
So after Gimel Tammuz, most of the Olam went back to reading Haftarah inside, but there were some great Chassidim, they couldn't bring themselves to do it. So after Chav Zayin Adar, they never stopped. They never started to read the Haftarah. They couldn't bring themselves to make that shinui because so many years
they listened to the Rebbe.
They were here in Crown Heights, and they those are shlichus. We got used to it. Those are where they were living here the whole time. They heard the Rebbe. So I noticed by some people, but Lamaisa, you should say it inside, but not loud.
Right, so that was
not loud. Some people say it out loud. They not to say not say it louder than the.
You make it loud. Your
I think it's a shtickle problem that people come and they call them. They mumble it to themselves. It's not beseder. People have to read it because there are some people that there's some people that are not saying it and they're listening. The whole thing it becomes like a time. Maybe people should. There has to be what's this thing? Something private by the Amid, like a private thing. No, if you read nicely, B'Koil Ram, everyone should have to. Yeah, you should read after.
I'm against read loud for everybody. Serious.
But, right, that's better that way. A lot of people, some people don't read it, don't know. It's okay, but you should give it to someone else. It's a big problem. A lot of young people that don't know how to do it, but they can't. They don't feel comfortable asking. They don't have this option of having someone else. I see it many times in Crown Heights, and it's a big problem. People that don't know how to read after at all, they're reading it, they can't read it, and they not only they don't read the Tra, they don't read the Nakodas Pride, they don't read the Isis, and it's yeah.
So Hasidic Shtibach that everybody reads it for himself. There's no. I know Rabbi Reuben's like that.
No, that's really the Etzem Dominik by Chassidim.
Why? I don't understand. Somebody should read.
No, I think it's a Kabbalah. It's a Kabbalah, I think.
Okay.
If I'm not mistaken, it's a Kabbalah. It's brought down. I think we have it in the Shabbos, maybe Reish Pei Beis. Take a look, Reish Pei Hey. Okay, so he says, even a regular person is not talking during the Zimun, he also should say to himself quietly, Mila b'Mila. Why? Because it's hard to be mechaben to every word of the Mevarich. V'im be'emse yifne libei levavei v'lo yishma eze teves hamakebes
You're missing a few words.
Loi yatsa dichas. If those words are ma'akif, or b'chasimis yemar l'sayim koidim sh'yisayim abarich, sh'yichulanis amen achrish is bar v'simna alaf nuntas. You should also, at the ending, of the chasimis, you should quickly finish up before the mevarich. You should be able to answer amen after him. So Lamaisa, let's go a little further. Half of Bishem is Amanel Shemitzar from Levarich, Kulam Bichsam Bazim Vasachas, and Shechem Varach Kulam Lake Sholachem Varach Latzme, Shin Kanzimun Kalal. How could this be considered a zimun if everyone's reading to themselves? The Mezamin says Birchas Hamazon, and everyone also says quietly to themselves. So what type of zimun is that? What's your kesher? You're not doing something biyachad. What are you doing together? You're not being yaitza with him. You're each doing your own bracha. What's the whole zimun here? Rabbi say nevarich. This is a nevarich. You're making everyone's doing it. Sagt as a call making kimisha koberchas Hamazon ada chasima. Oimrim kulam yachad mila b'mila. Im hamavarich b'birchas Hamazon reiza kamira achas. וגם החסימס הם חויזם משם פי המברך ואוינם אחרוב כמוי כשאך המברך כל ממש.
Now, they sing a little bit faster than him, the chasima, but they say omen and his chasima. Like we do in Hallel.
When you do this, it's a reza kamira achas, and it's like k'moy she'echad mevarech l'kulam mamish. Vav mi shebech zimon tzichem l'shmaya pi mevarech. Davke, Koman b'samazim nechsarin kavana yishlin kain. For the zimon, the whole way zimon was set up was davke should be yotze from the mevarech. Zok there, so what you're telling me it's ki'ilu amira achas. Very good, you're right. But I'm not a zimon. It's not a zimon. The zimon was set up davke the ear from the mevarech. Not that you're all saying it b'yachad. It says because it's Pesar and Kavanah are worried that people are not going to listen and concentrate. We don't have concentration. We're all ADD, so we're not able to.
It's hard to cancel. It's hard to cancel when you say it yourself. I can't come with somebody else.
However, yesh chelkin. Some achreinim argue. V'oimim she'im mezamen l'kein echel mevarich l'kulam. V'hein shoymim. One person needs to make the bracha. Everyone listen. The
first one is very important. That you said yourself.
Right, so you're yoyt to the first bracha from the mezamin, and from then on, you'll do it mila b'mila with the mezamin. אבל עד סימך הזון, השמיע מהכבש הזימון, שיועץ לזימון כלל, אני אסבר שולחן לבד, you're not יועץ. By side, the minig is nicht azoi. Even this goof what we're saying, the minig is not this way. So this Svarim is discussed it. Lamaisa the minig has changed Lamaisa today. The Birchas Hazimon, Oilam just all benches. Everyone benches. Lachreine actually just mamish recently came across someone who was giving a hezber explaining what's the side of it. And I don't remember now. I mamish saw recently.
But today everybody knows how to read. It's not like it's not hard. It's easier to read inside by yourself.
Time the Gemara, they knew how to read also. Time the Gemara.
No, but people did not have books like we have today. And
yeah. Okay.
It's harder.
But the shaila is that this shita, the minig is not like the shita.
Also. The guys they read and people read with them together. But it's stuck. No. You listen.
The Ammonites, they do the Targum also when they
Yeah,
do that.
yes.
Not so easy.
They know it by heart.
Yeah.
I want to just tell you one thing, that Alter Rebbe, later on in Birchas Hamazon,
Yeah.
okay, in 13 Simanim later, in Siman Kuf Tzadik Zayin, Sivches, he says that there's really Be'etzem Api Halacha that he discusses what you have to eat and drink in order to be considered part of a Mezumin. He says we could be makel, and this is what that simon is discussing, Kutzadik Zayin. We can be makel as to what to eat and drink. To be more makel that if you just ate a kazayis, only a kazayis, and you did not drink, even though other people ate lasoiva, they were l'sachalta sabata, the minatoida the chayim, not just midrabanan. Kazayis midrabanan.
Right.
They have seviyah, it's midiraisa. The one who's mzamin could be the one who's oichel kazayis levad, and it can moisi even those that are oichel l'soiva and they drank also. So the reason is, he says, Polzek kishemavarchin bezimun kitikun chachamim shemezamin levad hu amavarich. Almighty is kulam dechavasam. La'achshav shekulam mevarchin belachash im amazamin ein lochus shel kol zeh. V'yochel levarich af mish ochel kazayis levad v'leishasa. Even though there are chedim that are going to be yotza, the zimun she'ochel l'soiv v'shasu. Why? Because the whole zimun today is shvach. It's not a real zimun. Zimun today is nothing to what a real zimun tikkun chachamim. Tikkun chachamim means that you're being yotza, and you're listening in. And when you're being yotza, then someone who's only ate a kazayis, only chayim d'rabanan, shouldn't be mighty someone who was chayim in hatayda because he was seveya, chalta savata. So, but since today we're not doing tikkun chachamim, so everyone is anyways benching themselves. So therefore, you're not being mighty him. So you could be mekel. And even someone who was only chayim midrabanan could be mezamin for someone who was be the mevarich and be mezamin someone who's midaraisa. However, the Alter Rebbe is Messiahim. El Shekvar Nizbar and Simin Kuf Pegimel, our Simin that we were learning tonight. Shein Linikain, that you should not do like the Oilam does. Ela Yishmu with Pi Hamazamin Lepochis Tzim Berchas Hazon. Like we said over here, that the Yesh Chol can hold that you're not Yoitza. You have to at least do to the Sima Berchas Hazon. You have to listen to the Mazamin.
And then they say it themselves.
The rest, then they should say themselves.
Just the rest, not the rest.
Just the rest.
At least.
But Lamaisa, the minig is like he said, Aval Achshav.
Everybody.
This didn't change.
No.
Alter Rebbe is saying that you shouldn't do it this way. You shouldn't do it this way. But Lamaisa, this way that he said you should not do is still the minig B'zmanenu.
Hard to change the minute.
That the Oilam. I think that something happened by the Rebbe. I think that the Rebbe has to ask some people who know. I should have been would know because he kocht his halachas a lot. I have to find out that there was something happened. I think in the early years the Rebbe would bench and he would bench out. He was mazamin always by the fabrengen, and he would say out loud the first bracha, and I think a lot of the oilam was quiet, and they didn't start because they wanted to hear or be yotzef from the Rebbe's benching.
Big Rebbe Maharaj once said that if you carve the building, you have to hear Baruch Hashem. You have to answer Amen.
No, they were listening up to the whole bracha.
Rebbe was upset that
So he started saying it quietly till the ending of the bracha, something like this. I think, if I'm not mistaken, this is what I heard. Maybe he said something, he complained, and he said something, and then he stopped. He stopped saying that the whole bracha, maybe only the ending. You know what? But don't quote me on this at all. We have to this here.
Also, the problem. Some people will talk.
So that was the issue we were discussing before you came in. The problem was the whole minhag started to change because people were talking.
Sure.
Because the Mazamin used to say the whole entire Birchas Hamazon and everyone listened.
But they have to listen.
But people started talking. People started talking. So Alter Rebbe said, better than you shouldn't do a zimun.
Better should bench by yourself.
Bench by yourself. So Lamaisa, Alter Rebbe said, and even furthermore, even those people that are not talking, it's still very hard to concentrate throughout the Birchas Hamazon. And if you're not concentrating and you missed out key words that are ma'akiv, You're not Yoitzes. Therefore, he suggests that you say Balachash Mila b'Mila with the Mavarich. So by the Mizama, we have to say out loud the whole entire.
Okay.
Hello.
And we're gonna have Marid. So
Oh, you guys didn't pray yet?
yeah, you prayed already?
All right, yeah, I already prayed.
Oh.
You jumped in the prayer. Prayed, you're praying.
Almost 11 million.
Oh.
Yeah.
One more.
Yeah. Oh,
Remember,
learn a
I was
little
a
another
kid.
sif.
I was a kid in Kfar Chabad in Yeshiva Gdela. I don't know why was it in the morning? And Seder, let's say, start 10 o'clock or 11 o'clock.
Yeah.
There's a boy from America came. He speak only English, but he want to bench. They didn't have the American Siddur English.
Oh.
She asked me, please say one word, and I say after you. Baruch, Baruch, Ato.
Nice.
Middle bench, and I said to him, by the time I finish Birkat Hamazon, it's going to be a long time. Bye. I have no patience. I'm sorry. It's like, no, what should I do? I can't stay half an hour benching with you. Oh, you're number 10.
Okay.
Sadiq.
Okay, Shakaya